Station provides over 8 hours a day of agriculture programming on the air, stream live, and in podcast. Find out all the on-air and online platforms you can hear WTIM by going to TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
It is time now for the WTIM Morning Show right here on WTIM, your information station. I'm Tim Zalabak, your host. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. On the phone line, leading us off this morning, Jack Myers, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration. Jack Myers, how have you been lately?
I'm doing well, Tim. How have you been?
Doing super well. We appreciate your time. As always, good friend of the morning show is Jack Myers of the Social Security Administration. Got some cool topics to cover with you today. Looks like we're going to get started talking installing new kiosks at Social Security offices. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're always trying to figure out ways to make our services more accessible while balancing the important task of maintaining your privacy when you visit a Social Security office. And to that end, many of our local offices, most of our local offices, have recently gotten new check-in kiosks that make it easier for you to check in to do business with us when you get to the office. And these new kiosks are private and easy to use without assistance. I think one of the big advantages of them is, they're Americans with Disability Act or ADA compliant. So they include things like accessible keypads, audio headphone jacks with complimentary headphones that are available upon request. But they also have Braille instructions for how to use the kiosk and report any accessibility issues, and enhanced 508 compliant check-in software. So, really, again, just trying to make these kiosks more accessible for those who are checking in, but while maintaining privacy through monitors on the touch screens that have privacy filters. So basically, the information is really only viewable to the person standing right in front of it. You can't see if you're off to the side or something like that. So, really just trying to, like I said, make the check-in process easier for folks when you get to the office. But these kiosks are really only one way we've improved that. Recently, we also started offering what we call mobile check-in. That's about a year old or so. And mobile check-in express is a way that customers can use their mobile device, smartphone basically, to scan a QR code at the local office to check in for a scheduled appointment or a walk-in visit. So when you show up at our office, outside or on the door, depending on which space you're at, there's a sign with a big QR code for mobile check-in. If you scan that with your smartphone with the camera app, it'll get you into the check-in process, and you can take advantage of that. So you can check in electronically. It's kind of a cool feature, especially as we don't like to think about it, but we know what's coming here in the Midwest. It's going to be cold sooner than later. So on those cold mornings, if you want to take advantage of the mobile check-in process, you can go sit back in your car and wait for the doors to open. There's no reason to stand in a line outside our door because your spot will be reserved. So that's a really nice feature too, because when the doors open, then the people who have to use the kiosk can go over to those kiosks, and the people who have used the mobile check-in can go right to the windows and start being helped. And it just kind of helps the flow of traffic first thing in the morning in our Social Security offices.
Wow. So really efficient right there, and efficiency and privacy. Some of the big takeaways there when checking in. Prior to the installation of these new kiosks, was it strictly person to person check-in there?
Well, we did have kiosks for a while.
Okay.
We had an older style kiosk, but it just wasn't as nice, I guess I'll say, as this one. The accessibility wasn't as good. So these new ones are just a big step up and easier to use for the public coming into our offices.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of accessibility features. When you mention accessibility keypad, do you have any idea what that looks like, or kind of put a visualization in someone's mind out there?
Yeah, so it's with the kiosks themselves have Braille, so you can, when you're using the keypad, you can feel based on the numbers. So it's just, more accessible for someone who has a visual impairment.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Makes a lot of sense there. Any wrap-up words, Jack Myers, for this installation of the new kiosks over at Social Security offices?
Well, again, we talk about all of the ways we're trying to make the services convenient for you when you come in, but also keep in mind that you can conduct a lot of business with us on our website. So check ssa.gov before you make the trip over to Springfield, because chances are what you're trying to do, you can potentially take care of on the website. And then you also have the option to call us at 800-772-1213. That's our national number. And then our local Springfield number is 877-279-9504. So I always encourage you to check that online or telephone option before you make the drive over, because you may not have to show up at all. We may be able to help you without you even having to come to an office.
Awesome. Alrighty. Keeping convenience and efficiency and privacy all in mind there. Well, why is it important to let Social Security know about changes in benefits, Social Security benefits there?
Yeah, it is important because we always want to make sure that we're paying the right amount of money to the right person at the right time. Of course, that's kind of a founding set of principles for us here at Social Security. But there are ways that you can help as the person receiving Social Security to make sure that we're paying you the right amount of money each month. And you can do that by reporting changes that could potentially affect your eligibility. Now, whenever you apply for Social Security or SSI benefits, supplemental security income, that is, you receive a list of what we call reporting responsibilities. And the reporting responsibilities, or the types of things that you need to report, are going to be different depending on the type of benefit that you receive. Now, a few examples that I want to get into here this morning. I want to talk a little bit about reporting what I'll refer to as relationship or other life changes, and why I think that's important. And the reason for that is those relationship or life changes could potentially affect your eligibility for retirement benefits, survivor benefits, disability benefits. They could potentially also affect your SSI eligibility, because a lot of things with SSI being a needs-based program, there are a lot of things that affect that eligibility. But for the moment, I want to kind of dive into how these relationship type changes could affect your eligibility for Social Security benefits. Yeah. So, basically, Tim, you could, or your family members could potentially miss out on additional payments if you don't report changes to us in a timely manner, or you could possibly be overpaid benefits and have to pay us back. And some of those types of relationship changes I'm alluding to are marriage or divorce, death of a spouse or a former spouse, becoming a parent of a child, marriage of a child who gets benefits on your record, and then if a child who's on your record and you receive the benefits on their behalf as payee, if they move away to the care of another adult, you'd want to let us know about that, so we can make sure that the benefits for that child get to somebody that can help, make sure that they go towards the needs of that child. So those are some examples there. And, just to dive in with a couple kind of scenarios where they could change eligibility. I mentioned death of a spouse or former spouse. So, if you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits and you have a spouse who passes away, you could potentially be eligible for survivor benefits on their record. So you want to let us know about that so we can see if you're due any additional benefits. Same could be said for an ex-spouse. If you were married to somebody for 10 years or longer and that ex-spouse passes away and you were unmarried at the age of 60, you could possibly qualify for additional money on their record, even if you were divorced at the time they died. So you want to let us know about that. If you have a child who's getting benefits on your record as a minor child or disabled adult child, and they get married, that may make them ineligible for benefits on your record. So if that's not reported to us, they could be overpaid. So again, just some examples there, how those life or relationship changes could impact eligibility for Social Security benefits.
Yeah, my question was really going to be what is the common change that would really mix up benefits right there? And when you mention relationship changes right there, you really think about all the things that can change, and there all really needs to be told to SSA, so you don't miss out. You don't have to be repaying anything right there. Jack Myers, we appreciate all of this great information thus far in our WTIM morning show. We got to take ourselves a break. Jack Myers, public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration, right here on our WTIM morning show. Thanks so much to the live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. Will be right back here on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM. Radio gets results.
Miller Media Group Advertising works for Taylorville Estates. Here's Administrator Tony Clark.
In the past year, we have doubled our census. So that's been impacted mainly by the radio advertising. That is where we do the majority of our advertising, and our census definitely shows that it works. They lead us in the right direction for the season changing, and they anticipate our upcoming needs before we even have to tell them what they are. We've had consistent growth over the past 12 months. Like I said, we've doubled in our census, and that's been the first time in 43 months since prior to COVID that we've gotten to where now we have a waiting list for people to come. So advertising on the radio really does have an impact.
Applications for residency are now being accepted at Rolling Meadows Senior Living in Taylorville. Enjoy a comfortable lifestyle in a small community. Rolling Meadows offers seniors 62 and older round-the-clock maintenance, controlled access, large kitchens with full-size appliances, on-site laundry, and Wi-Fi in common areas. Located close to shopping and dining, schedule a tour today. Rolling Meadows is sponsored by Lutheran Social Services of Illinois and funded through U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and Federal Bank of Chicago. Rolling Meadows is an equal housing opportunity provider.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of the Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
Hi, I'm Denise Evans, coordinator of the Safe Passage program. We work with all ages with alcohol or drug issues. This program reduces crime, saves lives, and brings families back together. Call today. We are located in the Taylorville Police Department, 217-777-0080. We are waiting to help you.
This is Cammie Payne, General Manager of the Miller Media Group. We, along with TCCU, are proud to bring you the Community Spotlight each month.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Pastor Brian Moore here from Locust Grove Church near Assumption. We are alive and so worth the drive. Find directions to our church and watch our video podcast by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Agriculture is our largest industry. Your agriculture information station is WTIM, AM, FM, and online. Tune in or stream WTIM's over 8 hours a day of ag information featuring our local farm broadcaster to be in the know.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into the WTIM morning show, this time with Jack Myers, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. In that first half, we talked about new kiosk installation at the Social Security offices and letting Social Security know about changes in your benefits. All really important information to know. Kind of going to wrap around this relationship change conversation into newlyweds and changing your name, more relationship changes here, Jack Myers.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking in the first segment about if you're receiving benefits from us, how it's important to report those relationship changes to us.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of business with people who are not receiving benefits. In fact, one of the most common reasons people visit a Social Security office is for changes that are related to your Social Security number and card. And one of the big ones, Tim, is wedding season.
Yes.
We're coming out of the summer into the fall, where a lot of people tend to schedule their weddings. So if you were recently married and you chose to change your name, congratulations on being through the big day. I know there's a ton that goes along with that. You're probably breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief over having all that stuff in the rear view.
Yeah.
But I want to mention that there's one more important thing. Again, if you chose to change your name, you need to get that updated with us at Social Security. It is very important to make sure that your name is current on our records so that your employer wage reports and things like that get reported correctly. There are a lot of interfaces with places like the DMV and again, of course, your employer's wage reports. So you want to be sure that the name on Social Security's records is current and accurate, and you want to do that through us at Social Security. It is going to be free of charge, so you don't have to pay any third party for that service.
Great.
But just make sure you don't forget to do that.
Okay, perfect. And that was my only question on is it doesn't cost anything. That's the final thing, like you said, then you do get those names changed. And of course, you bring up all of the things that you're going to end up putting your legal name on for tax purposes or anything else there. And the SSA, really the biggest entity that really needs to know about that when we do things like file our taxes, and we need that last name to be proper.
That's right. And what we're most likely going to need to see, Tim, is a certified copy of your marriage certificate.
I see.
That's going to be that name change document.
Yep.
Now, right now at this point in time, there are actually 21 states that will allow us to verify marriage certificates, which means that we don't need to see yours if you got married in one of those states. And the nice thing about that is in those states, if you got married in one of those states, at least, it allows you to start and complete the name change process through our website by using your My Social Security account. So if you go to ssa.gov, create a My Social Security account for yourself, you can go through the whole process from start to finish. Now, Illinois is not one of those states yet. However, there are some nearby states such as Iowa, Missouri, Michigan, and Wisconsin that are on the list. So if you got married in one of those states or one of the other states that allow us to do that, you can go all the way through the process. One of the nice things about this is you don't really have to know ahead of time what that list is. If you just go to our website at ssa.gov, and then at the top, you click or tap what says card and record. So it's kind of intuitive there. And then choose personal record where you're trying to, update your information. You'll get into basically a decision tree or a series of questions, and it'll just ask you what you're trying to do. And then it'll get to a point where if you say marriage and name change, it'll ask you what state you were married in. And then it knows if you were married in one of the states that allow us to verify electronically, it'll route you into My Social Security and let you do your application right there. If not, it'll give you the option to at least start the application online, and then it'll show you a list of what you need to bring to us at Social Security. And really the beauty of it then from that point is it'll give you an opportunity to schedule an appointment. So you could have an appointment to come in and do this name change. And that's something that people seem to really appreciate because you're busy, you've got a lot going on. Chances are maybe you've taken some time off work recently for a honeymoon, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, being as efficient as possible is great for folks in that scenario.
Without a doubt. Jack Myers, we got 90 seconds left. I'm going to throw out one of these fire from the hip questions at you right now. And as we're talking Social Security cards, changes, maybe even getting a new one with your updated last name, is it illegal to laminate your Social Security card?
Good question. It's one we get a lot. It's not illegal.
Okay.
So, it's not anything you're going to have to worry about being in trouble for, but we definitely discourage it. We say it's best not to laminate your card because a lot of times what happens is if you laminate a card and then you show it to somebody, maybe an employer who's looking to hire you or for whatever reason, you're asked to present your Social Security card. A lot of places won't accept it if it's laminated because they know that that's not how they come. It makes it a little more difficult to detect security features or tell if it's a fraud. So I would encourage you not to laminate it. And the reason I say that you don't need to, I know it's paper, so people sometimes think they want it to be durable. You don't have to carry it around with you. You shouldn't. So you don't need to laminate it.
Yeah, it's the first thing in my mind. I want to weatherize that thing. I want to make sure it can't get wet. But again, it could bring up some problems. Like, again, not illegal, but definitely something that could produce some problems for you when you're trying to use it. Jack Myers, as always, we thank you for your time here on our morning show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Tim.
Absolutely. Jack Myers, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration right here on WTIM, your information station.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
And they produce for the country because the level of